Time now to head back to Detroit for our 6th and I believe final challenger in Detroit, who is Angel. And also because, well, I'm pretty convinced I can manage to win Angel's car as well. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'll probably just use my Lotus Esprit again, because the car itself has gifted me with success before. And this is a complete unknown for me because I don't know how this is going to go. But one thing I know for sure is I do have the car to do it. The Lotus Esprit. And as much as I could be spending my money on a Class A vehicle right about now, I'm not going to do that yet. Even though I can technically afford myself a Class A vehicle if I really wanted to. But I figure there's a tournament I have to do first before doing that. Because the Class A vehicles, they're not going to be cheap. Oh hey, it's the Diablo that I kept handing my ass over to previously. I might also consider buying myself this, because it's a Porsche. The Jambala Turbo Coupe. Anyway, before we do that, let's exit the garage and go back to my Lotus Esprit and get on with my next set of races, and then after that I will probably call it a day, because I have been at this now for a few hours, and I've made good progress.
Órale, let me see what you got now.
I'm sure you will, Oscar. I'll probably buy myself a Class A vehicle once I get after Caesar again. But first, let's take on Angel, who is driving a Celine S7. And I'm pretty convinced I can beat him because I'm using a car that's hopefully got better handling than his.
By invitation only is pulling out a major player. Angel's been tearing up races for years. Time someone takes him down.
I will get started with the by invitation only club races at some point, but not until I have the money to do it. And this time we do get a flare to use as our point marker, as the first one we are doing is Eliminator, and where Angel is driving a Celine S7. This is going to be interesting, but at least I'm convinced I can win. I might also consider using my Lotus for the next few Unbeatable Street Racer events. You know what, if this happens again, I'm just going to switch cars right here, right now, because I just don't feel like I can win with this thing anymore. I just don't think my car is fast enough to do it. I'm really having heavy self-doubts about whether or not this car is even good enough, in spite of its physical toughness. I just don't think it's fast enough to best those Celines with all this traffic. It's just basically become an even worse infection to me than anthrax. Traffic is just hitting me at the moment like anthrax, and I just don't feel like I can do this anymore. really starting to consider switching cars now, because I don't know if this car is going to do it anymore. As much as I'm really trying to, I'm really starting to think I should just switch cars right here, right now. And basically see if I can win right here, right now. As much as I'm really trying to prove there is a shot at winning, the car just doesn't seem to be fast enough for me to prove it. At least not until now. Because I have a slim hope in saying that I can pull this off using the Lotus. And I somehow do pull it off with the Lotus. Over Angel, Jalil, Ying, T-Bone, and Boo.
Not bad, man. Not bad at all.
That first race was a total crapshoot, but I somehow got it done. Once everything fell into place. This is probably a very stark reminder for me to just consider switching over to a Class A car once I'm done here, because I don't think this thing will beat Caesar when I challenge him again anymore. Especially since we now have a McLaren F1 in this race. Which basically tells you everything you need to know about how hard this will probably be. I really am starting to notice a trend here, because these races appear to be getting longer. And I think I can say that quite fairly because, well, I think this is probably going to be my last hurrah with the Lotus, the way I see it, because I just don't think this car is going to do the job for me anymore. Once I'm finished here, because I think it's probably time for us to switch over to a Class A car once we're done here. Because I don't see myself pulling off any more races using my Lotus anymore. Somehow. I just don't think it's going to do the job anymore in terms of winning. Which in all honesty at this stage is becoming pretty clear to me now, because I can only just keep up with these guys. And my chances to take with the Lotus just don't seem to be there anymore. I feel like a Class A car is now required for me to pull this off. Judging by what I can see here. As in, I don't think my car is fast enough to go for it. And traffic is still not helping me here. As much as I'm really trying to just let it get out of my head, it's not removing itself from my head. Hey, I'm back up to second again. So I'm going to assume the two leaders must have wrecked each other somehow. This is pretty much going to be my last hurrah for the Lotus Esprit by the time I'm done with this. Because I just don't think my car has the pace to keep up with the Class A vehicles anymore. I just don't think it's there anymore somehow, because of what I've been seeing here so far. This might be the time for me to switch to Class A once this is done. So Angel second, Kato third, and Mayo finished fourth in his Mercedes CLK GTR. 2 races down with Angel, and now I just have 1 to go. I've been earning a lot of money recently. I might as well get my replay whilst I'm here, or part of it. Since I'm pretty convinced this will be my last hurrah with the Lotus. Still, I did have to fight for that one. There's no question in saying that I was definitely battling above my weight class, but it was a battle I did manage to win, nonetheless. And in all honesty, I think that did help me in the end. Even then, if my skill issues still costed me time. But whatever. As long as I'm proving the Lotus can still do it, then that's all I care about. Although I'm pretty sure there's no way this car would be able to beat the McLaren F1 GTR and the Mercedes CLK GTR respectively on pure pace like this. Unless the car itself is literally a race car. And only in street racing games would anyone consider the Lotus Esprit to be a street racing car. I don't think there's any other way this would be possible otherwise. Aside from me getting some huge moments of luck. That probably helped me out also. But anyway, it doesn't matter now. I've done what I need to do. Okay, I think that should do it now. There's more than enough video footage there for me to use for thumbnail evidence. Let's now get on with our final race with Angel. I think this one is called Avenged Ruins, but I don't know for sure. We're back to racing the Salines again. Yeah, I'm convinced if those cops weren't there, I probably would have won this race, but unfortunately they had to be there. And they basically made this even more of a misery than what it needs to be. Is what I think. As in, they're basically making this less fun than it's supposed to be. I think if those cops weren't there at the worst possible time, I would have had this one by now. But nope, my ineptitude is still getting the better of me. Regardless of how hard I try to hide it, it's just almost impossible for me to hide from the ineptitude. As much as I'm just really trying to. There's no way that would have been possible in real life. I just don't think it would have been there. Even if I wanted it to be there. At least it shows I still have hope. And that, in all honesty, is all I really need to prove. But nonetheless, I'm still trying. Which should tell you one thing, at least. Anyway. It's those same cops again. Hard to believe I actually went through those cops once. There was one time where I actually did go through those cops at full speed. I couldn't tell you how that happened though, but at this stage, I'm just having a really hard time of knowing how to win this. And at this stage, I think that's becoming more and more obvious now. Until now. Okay, we're done. we have beaten Angel, who finished in 5th. So, 1.03 seconds is the margin of victory over Boo. Jalil completes the podium, then it was Ying who finished 4th, followed by Angel 5th, and T-Bone was 6th.
Hey, I got some new stuff in. Come on in, check it out.
I will consider checking it out, Vince. So we've now got some more rims available. And guess what? We are now done with Angel. Cool. I almost thought for sure the comms device was going to switch on again. Guess it didn't. Anyway, we've beaten Angel now, so the only guy left on the map is Caesar for his rematch. And then once I'm done with that, I'll probably get on with the unbeatable street racers. Actually no, I'll get on with the Bad Boys tournament next. I think that's probably what I'll do. Anyway. There we go. Angel has now been beaten. And that is all but one of our challengers here in Detroit. I should also mention we are now 69% complete with the game. Nice. At least with this part of the game. And I don't believe we've unlocked any new upgrades. Have we? No. I didn't think so. Okay, anyways. So, Angel has now been beaten, and next time I will be buying myself a Class A car to take on Caesar. So, that's pretty much gonna do it for today, in terms of how many episodes I've now recorded, so yeah. Next time, on Midnight Club 3, the Caesar rematch.